Yo, 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 what's up? We back with another episode of Basketball Culture. I'm your host, Ebony.
It's your boy Tyler, and today, for the first time, we actually got two guests with us. If you guys want to quickly introduce yourself.
My name is Bruce Bolden. I played in the NBL for 17 seasons, now co-founder of LobX.
Andre Williams, co-founder of LobX, sports agent.
Great. Nice to have you guys.
Thank you.
So, before we start, I want to, like we do for every guest, get a quick quiz, kind of test some knowledge and stuff. And
Straight off the bat.
Let's go.
Yep. Glad you mentioned. You guys can kind of work together if you want. But I'm glad you mentioned you're an agent because I got some questions about some agency, some about the NBL as well. But for the first question, who is LeBron James' agent?
Oh, well, that's kind of easy. Wish it was me, but
Don't we all?
I know, right? Rich Paul.
Yep. Yes, sir. And then a follow-up, what agency is he signed to?
Again,
Sports.
wish it was LobX, but
Yes,
it's
sir.
Clutch.
And then we kind of move into NBL question. Who has the most points in NBL history? Total points.
Good question. I would say Andrew Gaze.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just under 19,000. And then kind of just a generic question. Who's the only player to win Finals MVP on the losing team in NBA history?
Ooh.
Repeat that again.
The only player to win Finals MVP that was on the losing
On the
team.
losing team.
In the
Yeah.
NBA.
Yep.
Man, that's some good ones. I'm gonna pass that off to the basketball extraordinaire over here.
What era? That's probably
It's old
Question.
school. It's old school.
Larry Bird.
Close, but it's actually Jerry West.
Jerry
The
West.
logo.
Wow.
Yeah.
The logo.
You went way back.
Okay.
Yeah. And then kind of now we just got some nicknames. Say some nicknames and you tell us who you think the player is. Got some old ones and some newer ones. Start with the anomaly. It's kind of been going around recently.
Anomaly.
Yeah, it's very recent.
Miles
Some-
Morales.
Some people don't really like it, but it's kind of
Anomaly.
sticking.
Man,
No, you have
that's a
me.
good one.
You got me there.
That one's Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we go to the Spider.
Oh, that's Donovan Mitchell.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Then we do a little throwback. We got Human Highlight Film.
Vince Carter. Oh, no.
No,
wait.
Dominique Wilkins.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And then we go the Jet.
Oh, Kenny.
Kenny.
Yep. And then last one to finish us off, we got, know you led the league in rebound in some seasons, so we got the round mound of rebound.
Oh yeah, Big Barkley.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He kind of shaped like me anyway, so I knew that one.
Same over here. But yeah, end of the quiz, did pretty well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate
Nice,
that.
give you that one.
That was a good one.
Very good, yeah. Before we continue, just want to talk about This Week in Basketball, one of my favourite segments, but this is not my favourite segment this week because Miami is, I don't even want to talk about them. Warriors, though, you know, Butler's on Warriors now, so I kind of go for them.
Oh, you mad because of the trade, huh?
Yeah, it's honestly, it hurts a lot seeing
Yeah.
Butler on Warriors. I'm like, when I was younger, I used to go for Kyrie, and I'll just, whatever team he was on, I'll just watch, and I love that team. Seeing Butler on Warriors, I don't know, something's just not clicking. I think because of the rivalry I have with my brothers.
Yeah.
That's their team. It's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing your favorite players jump teams, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, I'm happy to see Luka in LA. So he looks great in that uniform.
Yeah, that's a
definitely.
good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely does. A lot of teams kind of fighting for that playoff seeding right now. But between all the way to like 6 and 10, it's one game
It's always
between them
crazy
all.
in the
Yeah.
West, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure right now the Timberwolves and Warriors, where we got the same record, so we're kind of fighting. I was happy because they lost today,
Yeah.
and then we went and lost as well to the Nuggets.
So it didn't move. Yeah.
So yeah, it just stays the same. But
Yeah, it's always going to be a juggle when you have the effects of a trade.
yeah,
This is
definitely.
probably the most affected one. So teams are still jockeying. You know, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, see how it plays out. I don't want another year in the plane. It's very stressful, but hey,
I was watching the Lakers Phoenix. What was that yesterday? And Luka and KD was going at it.
Yeah.
KD looked at him and said, "Man, y'all not going to make the playoffs anyway." And then they lost. So I was like, "Okay, come on, let's go."
Yeah,
I think we're in the fifth spot in the West, so I'm happy with that for now.
Lakers are looking good at the moment. LeBron went down. It was a bit shaky, but
He's coming back this week though.
yeah, get some players back.
Yeah, he had a little growing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, should be good.
Yeah, looks like, a lot of the other teams are going successful. Miami.
She's still hurting on Miami.
Very, very, if you ever come to know me, you'll realize I'm a very big Miami fan. And
I think
I'm in a lot of pain right now.
I think part of Miami's situation too is Pat Riley is he's a hard nose. He's got a big ego. He's always been the man. He don't like anyone to tell him anything different. He like to run the show, as he did New York, L.A. Built the culture in Miami. You come in, you bring someone in like Jimmy, who tough guy himself, would stand up to anyone. So they bumped heads. So obviously the winner was going to be Pat Riley, being his position, which I guess in a sense suits Jimmy, because he's now next to Steph Curry. So it's not a bad little trade.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Moving on from that. Now, we got our basketball culture definition. So our podcast is called Basketball Culture. So we always want to ask our guests, what are your guys' definition of basketball culture? You can give a joint answer if you want. You can give two separate answers. Up to you.
Yeah, for me, it's one where, it's a combination of things. It's a combination of, your crew that you play with, the environment that you live in, which, Andre and I lived in a hard, no, tough environment, where the saying was, go hard or go home. And within that culture is passion and love about the game. It could be playing, under 12s to high level. It's that culture that everybody enjoy and want to be a part of. So I love how it plays a part in the game these days, because it's inspiring. This generation of kids they'll see it and really resonate with 20 years from now. And they'll think back, as Dre and I think back to, our days when we were growing up out at the park, out at the playground, together with the fellas.
And that's kind of where mine's come in. It's a little bit different from his, but the culture for me was, playing at the park, no nets, just a hard rim, half a backboard, kind of cut off, probably some graffiti on it, getting chased by the dogs, running from the gangsters, getting home before the lights came on. So, that's a whole culture for me in itself, just growing up. But then just seeing the game evolve as well. And, coming from, South Central LA and now being here, in Sydney, Australia, you can see the difference of, how they played back in the day to how they playing now. So the culture is just kind of the whole thing of seeing it just through the decades and how the kids grow up behind it as well.
I love that. We'll definitely get into a bit more of that later.
Yeah.
You got something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say definitely agree with that. It's always evolving, and, no matter where you come from, basketball connects everyone. So, it's
100%.
definitely good to see. But kind of related to that culture, how you guys talked about, we asked you guys if you could bring an item that meant something to you or sentimental to you. So if you guys want to quickly show that off and quickly talk about it.
I'll go first with mine. So mine is... It would have been real easy for me to bring in a jersey from when I played, but I thought I'd go differently, which is also has to do with the era that I played in, that physicality of it and that mental side of it as well. So what I brought here was my warm-up T-shirt. So this is a T-shirt I wore over my uniform, but under my warm-up top, and it stated my mindset of the whole grand final series of being in the paint to give my teammates a target in the paint offensively and in the paint defensively to defend the opposition. So you can see that there.
Oh, yeah, paint.
So that says the paint, right? And the orange part there is where I wanted to sort of establish myself from an offensive point of view and a defensive point of view.
The bruiser.
You do have the three-point line, but that really wasn't my game.
Yeah.
My game was, back to the basket, back when there was a no layup rule. Okay, so you went to the basket, you're going to get hammered. Whereas nowadays, that could be a flagrant 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
$500,000 fine.
Yeah, exactly. So this is my piece here. I don't know if you notice it or not, just by the color. It's not a bright white. That's because this shirt here is from 1992.
Damn.
Okay.
That for real.
Where was y'all born?
2002. 10 years before I was here.
So I've kept it all that time because it's a piece that I remember, and it represents me from back then. So
nice.
I had to bring it out.
I love it.
Paint. That's the bruiser ball.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be quick, but I bought 2 pieces. That's means something to both of us, really. Something recently, and I'm sure we'll get into that, all about LobX as well. But we started this so we can help, young athletes, young Australians get over to the United States play, right? And so this is our inaugural jersey, our LobX jersey that the guys wore last year, and has Williams on it. That's mine. I had to get mine. But we also represent the Aussie flag on it, so you can see that as well. It's reversible, so that means a lot to us because that was our first tour. We took over eight players, and then this one is one of our first clients is LobX in the NBL. So Alex Higgins-Titsha playing for the Cairns Taipans. He actually signed it, but you can barely see it. With a little bit of, where's it at? You got to dig deep in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's our first, our first NBL client. So that means a lot to us. Dude's doing well right now. He's actually playing for Australia in the 3-on-3. What is it called? The Champions Cup for Australia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Kangaroos. So they won the bronze the other night, and they're off to Singapore next week to play in another tournament. So those are two good jerseys for me. I'm gonna hang them up on my wall.
Mm-hmm. So you have old school, you have new school.
Yes. Great to see kind of the roots and stuff of how the guys were created. And,
yeah.
It's pretty cool, just how you guys complement each other.
Appreciate it.
Before we get into, all the roots and all that of that, we want to start a bit with your childhood, to how each of you guys grew up, and, you said you guys kind of went through similar things. So I'd love to hear the stories. So
I grew up in Flint, Michigan. That's about an hour from Detroit. So whenever I say Flint, I sort of reference it with Detroit. Family was there from back in the car industry days. So that's where Flint really survived off the car industry. And it allowed me to, have my childhood there where I was able to play some basketball, enjoy life, enjoy high school. In terms of basketball, I say this, probably not as often as I used to, with my story is I probably wouldn't have played basketball if it wasn't for my cousin who, at the time I was 13 years old, pretty tall. And, back then the whole thing was if you're tall, you play basketball. So my cousin, he pulled me aside one time because I was playing, back in the day. You play basketball, you play flag football, you play, normal football, you play baseball, and particularly during the summer, we was doing all of that. Or run up and down the block back in the days when, you used to play in the street. Because, growing up, our parents told us, get out of the house, don't sit in the house, go and play. Just make sure you're home by the time the lights are out.
The OG social media.
And so my cousin said to me, Bruce, man, you're pretty tall and your basketball is okay. And if you were to get rid of those other sports and don't play them anymore and concentrate on basketball, he said, man, you could make the NBA. And when he said NBA, my ears pinged. I thought, okay, NBA. Because my favorite NBA player at the time was Dr. J. Julius Erving, so I immediately went there. And I stopped playing the other sports, started focusing more on basketball, and I can see within a couple of weeks that I was getting a little better, slowly but surely, and I thought, okay, let me just keep going in that direction. And then I was, getting taller as well, and continued playing basketball from there, from junior high to high school. Was able to play on the varsity team, because in America you have junior varsity, you have varsity. And so that made a statement to me that I'm on the right path. And I was truly engulfed in trying to be like Dr. J then. Just played basketball through high school, and I was lucky enough to get offered a scholarship. Because the other thing growing up in the hood, you always want to try to get out of the hood by way of sports. Mm-hmm. It was big. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was basketball. If I can get a scholarship, then I can continue to be like, Dr. J and get to that level. That was my mindset. That was my visional path. Mm-hmm. Was able to get the college scholarship. And when I got to college, I knew that my skills wasn't broad. I was only, we talk about the paint. I was really only a rebounding guy and a tough guy. That's about it. But, I took on that role and had a niche within my college at Boise State University. Still played hard. I didn't have a jump shot. I was just a banger. But unfortunately and fortunately, in '83, there was this guy named Michael Jordan that got drafted. Okay? So everybody was looking for the next Michael Jordan, and I knew I wasn't that. So I still wanted to be like Dr. J and get to the NBA. I just knew that it wasn't going to be as smooth as Michael Jordan. Mm. Yeah. So I realized that in order to sort of continue on with that after finishing college, next step for me is Europe, because back then Europe was really the big place for playing overseas. Mm. Got a chance to play overseas in Norway for 2 seasons. In the off season of playing over there is when I was able to come to Australia. That happened by way of a college teammate of mine who was here, and he was a player coach, and they needed another import because back then you were allowed 2 imports. We might have had 1 or 2 naturalized players back then, not as many as it is today. And he asked me if I wanted to go and play with him here. And my first thought was, Australia, I don't know. I didn't know anything about it other than koalas and kangaroos. That's it. And I thought it would be a different culture to Norway, because where I was living in Norway in the apartment complex, it was a lot of the elderly people in it, so they didn't speak English. And so it didn't bother me because I was playing basketball. So all I wanted to do, we train, come back home, train, play our games, I was fine. But having the opportunity to come over here, straight away I resonated with it because 1, they spoke English. Mm-hmm. 2, my college teammate was here. So I thought if I get homesick, I can go hang out with him at his house for however long I need to. And funny enough, 3, there was McDonald's here. You're talking about a 23-year-old seeing McDonald's in another country. There was no McDonald's in Norway at that time. I thought, this place is okay. And the people that picked me up from the airport, really, really nice people. To this day, I always say they are the reason why I'm here. Because being 23, first impression is the impression for me. Because I was, growing up in the hood back then, all you know is your neighborhood, your high school, or the main street everybody drive up and down. That was my world. Then when I went to Norway, or let me take it back, I went to Boise State. That kind of opened me up to parts of other worlds, even though it's still in the United States. But then go to Norway, it's another country where I had to get a passport, which is very minimal in America. Then that made it easy to go to Australia because of the 3 things. But the 2 ladies that picked me up from the airport, really, really nice, made me feel welcome. The whole 2-hour trip from Melbourne to Traralgon, which is the country area. So that was my first impression. If I would have got a different vibe, I probably would have went back to Norway and would have thought, I don't like Australia. So that's my journey to arriving here. So I'm blessed that I got a chance to continue on my career. Didn't go down the path of being an NBA like Dr. J. I was fortunate enough to meet Dr. J.
There you go.
Twice. Twice. So one time in Australia, in Melbourne, back when they had this thing called NBA Jam Session. So he came out as an ambassador. So got a chance to meet him then for the first time. Second time I got a chance to meet him in Philadelphia. The first time I went there to watch my son play. So it was some special moment there.
Wow,
Yeah, definitely a full circle moment.
Yeah.
But hearing about how kind of you said you came here and that good like greeting and stuff you got kind of led you to staying here. It's crazy to hear because just like in basketball, how one little rebound or extra turnover can create all the momentum and completely changes things.
Yeah. And I was still growing as a young man. So coming over here, making the transition to being a whole lot smoother helped me. And I must admit one more thing that really resonated with me as well, the food. There's a major variety of food when I got here because growing up back then, all we knew was soul food, Chinese, Mexican. That's it.
And you can get it all at one store. Along with your Old English 800 with a Budweiser.
800.
Yep.
But getting over here, seeing it's Greek, Italian, Lebanese, Asian.
All of it.
I was like, wow. And, you know, being a baller, particularly back then, I ate a lot. So I was in Melbourne. I went to a lot of different restaurants, tried a lot of different food, and it just played a part in me settling in into the country at the time, which obviously eventuated to it being home now. Yeah.
My story is not as exciting as that. Wasn't a basketball player. However, played all the sports, you know, growing up, and you know, growing up as we both have, you know, in the hood, as we're saying, you know, South Central LA was one of those neighborhoods where, you know, every day it was a mission to get to high school, you know. So, you know, growing up there, I'll take it back a little bit. I was actually, when I was born and raised in Gardena, California, we was the only black family amongst white and Japanese. Right, we lived on 149th and Denver. Sorry, so we're the only black family. But over time, you know, like most black families, things happen. Mom and dad separated. We knew what we knew best. We went where all the black folks were. So we went back to South Central LA. Right. So growing up there, Nickerson Gardens, Jordan Downs. In between there, one area is Crip, one is Blood. I went to a school in the middle of that. But before I got to high school, I still had to get on the bus to go back to the Gardena area. So every morning out there, man, 4:30 in the morning, getting on the bus, you know, going back and forth. So, which I'm telling you that story because I spoke to everybody on the bus, from the bus driver to the lady I sat next to whoever was in my path. So, you know, my family always said I've never met a stranger, which is probably why I'm in the position I'm in now as an agent, because I could just talk, right? But, you know, briefly, you know, coming up through Gardena, we moved into South Central LA, you know, and that kind of hit me because now I'm like, wow, there's a lot of black folks. And this is a true story. Like, I grew up and it was just all white Japanese. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of me out there. So growing up in the United States was a culture shock just from coming from one area to the next, right? So anyway, growing up there, played basketball, baseball, football, played everything. You know, we played high school, we played, you know, area against area. You know, my brother's a lot older than me. You know, they was running the streets, you know, gang banging. Gang banging in the United States is a little bit different from what gang banging is here, right? Yeah. That's what they say. So let's just put that, you know, they was tough guys in the streets, right? So they looked after me. You know, I was able to get out of that. But, you know, the thing that got me out of United States was my mouth. You know, being able to talk, right? Like I said, I played all the sports, had an opportunity, came to Australia, right? Started growing up here, and in 2008, you know, a little bit later down the track, man, I just fell into a sports agency job, which just doesn't happen, right? Doesn't happen. I worked for IMG, which is one of the biggest global sports management agencies, you know, in the world. And here I am. I'm like, yeah, I'm finna make all this money. I'm gonna represent the big dogs. I was looking after More my first gig was I was looking after cricket players and rugby players, but I wasn't heavily involved personally with that player, right? It was more so doing all the back end, contractual stuff, endorsement deals, sponsorship deals. But I got to see the games, right? Then as time went on, I started, one-on-one being able to look after Ricky Ponting, right? Michael McGraw. Let me see who else. I'm going blank here. Wendell Saylor, George Gregan. So it was looking after and IMG looked at it from here on an international scale too, right? So we looked after the international teams, right? Got a chance to work with the Boomers. Penny Taylor was one, as an Opal. So we did a lot of endorsement deals, contractual stuff, making sure that they were getting paid while they were playing as well, right? So that's where I really cut my teeth in doing that. And then took some time off, went back and forth, went back to the States for a little while, worked with a couple of different agencies, working with different athletes, from baseball, basketball, even football. Then there was an opportunity to get back over to Australia. And then now here we are, Bruce and I, in LobX. So that's where, it all started for me, running my mouth, and I'm still doing it now. So that's where it happens.
Yeah, it's great. Getting those reps in early on from a kid.
That's right.
Yeah. Just a question about you said you're always like good talking and stuff like that. Was being like a sport agent did you plan it? Like, I know you said you kind of fell into the job, but like when you were growing up, did you ever think maybe that might be kind of a career path I could take? Or
it wasn't. I kind of always thought TV and radio, which I worked in TV and radio, but I worked in sales, right? So it was picking up the phones, dialing up, hey man, you want to get on the afternoon drive show? It's going to cost you $10,000. What? Next call. So, it was just the repetitiveness in that, right? But how I fell into it, though, is I met the right people. I was just in the right place, the right time. Started seeing a little bit more about it. I knew all the players needed agents, right? But it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. Just fell into it. And then once I got a little taste of it, I was loving it, just kept on going. I'll tell the quick story I always say, and Bruce can probably mimic this one. When we gone back to the United States, and I was working with another partner, we did baseball and basketball. And one of my things was, hey man, got to be in it to win it, right? So met Trae Young at like 14, 15 years old, right? He was playing for, I forgot the AAU team, but he was part of the, back then I think it was the Nike Academy, and LeBron was the main guy at it, right? And he would come down to the trainings. So I saw him and, just rolled up on him. I was like, hey man, first I hit him on Twitter. And he hit me back. He was like, hey man, yeah, I'm gonna introduce you to my dad, Rayford, So I became good friends with him as well. Went down and saw Trae. He was training. They didn't want people talking to the players, but I kind of snuck him to the side. And I was like, hey man, appreciate you giving me Pop's number. I'm gonna reach out to him. He's like, yeah, do that. Man, we followed him for a couple of years. Talked to him often, kind of like almost advising and mentoring, right, to a degree. But stayed in touch with his dad. Then they invited me down to NCAA tournament. It was in Phoenix. I can't remember the year that was. 2014, 15, 16, when I was around there. Went down there, had a conversation with his dad. Him, another guy was there, and just talking to him about how we can help him. Me and my partner at the time, and how we can get him to the NBA and the pre-combine and the draft and all this stuff and the training. But at that time, it took a lot of money to get guys like that. Now, a monkey can represent a Trae Young and a Michael Jordan or LeBron James, right? Because they're doing it all themselves. But you had to get them to that point, right? So, unfortunately for me, I didn't have that. I couldn't go sell a house. My wife would have killed me. You know what I mean? But it was all about learning. I kind of, in the back of my head, kind of knew I'm probably not going to get this guy, but I'm still going to go after him. Same thing like with the Derek White, chased after him, who's now a Celtic, you know what I mean? Andrew Wiggins. So I was going after a lot of these players. The back of my mind thinking, if I get one, man, I'm going to be in trouble, but I'm going to make it happen when I get it, right? So it's helping me to where I'm at now, You know, being able to really understand the game and what it takes to get there as a non-player. But that, you know, from my eye, I know the game. You know, I learn from Bruce now. I'm learning from, you know, guys before him, and, you know, just in the industry itself. You know, you can look at somebody and tell they can play. So, you know, and that's what makes me, you know, who I am today as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I have a question. Like, since you didn't really play basketball, like, seriously or anything growing up, what's, like, the number one thing that sticks out to you when you see a basketball player that, like, you're like, oh, they're good?
Two things. And I'll say the first thing is, and it's probably not really the play, the way they plan, it's just their attitude. Like, I can go, and we talk about this often. You know, when we go into a gym, watch people play, like, okay, yeah, he looks good. He passes the test, right? Tall, lean, he looks like it. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's moving. But it's just the attitude on the court, you know. Damn, he missed a shot. What is he doing after that? You know, is he blaming his teammate? You know, he got subbed out. You know, did he go to the coach? Is he listening to the coach? You know, is he talking back to the coach, right? Or is he listening in, sitting down, get back in, and changing his ways, right? So that's one. But the second part is just seeing him out there, right? Just seeing him out there, the way he's moving, how he's scoring, how he's sharing the ball, you know, just his process, his mindset, you know. What does he do when he get the ball? Is he making stupid plays, or is he really being smart about it? So, you know, when you see so many games and you're talking to a guy like this at the game, and he's probably either two things, either you get frustrated with him because he's always mad at somebody. He's like, man, what is he doing? What is he doing? You know, like, man, let me watch the game, right? So we do that at the NBL games. He's like, Dre, man, you see what this dude doing? If he just did that, and he's got his clipboard out, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, just looking at the players and seeing what they're doing on the courts.
Yeah, like that. I know someone like that. Who's, yeah, angry at the plays, and we're like, just watch. Yeah.
Kind of linking back to when you were growing up, you said your cousin kind of pushed you towards the basketball career. Was there, I just want to kind of know, when was the point where you thought, like, damn, like, I can really pursue kind of professionally? Because obviously, I assume everyone, when they're playing basketball, they dream of going NBA, like you said, but when was that moment where you're like, I can actually really make it now?
I think it might have been, you know, once I got to college, you know, I got a scholarship. And I wasn't, you know, when my cousin, you know, gave me that advice, I wasn't thinking of the process. I'd already leaped to where, you know, Julius Erving was in the NBA. But the process eventually sunk in, you know, once I was in a position after high school of getting a college scholarship. Then I thought, okay, this could lead to being there with you know, Julius Erving, playing professionally.
And would you say your time at Boise State, and also you said you played in Norway, would you say playing at all those different places kind of molded you into the player you eventually were in the NBL?
Yeah, yes, and also probably molded me into the young man the man that I am today. Because, you know, you get in your hood, that's your world. You know, that's something that's still in me today. But going from Flint, which is predominantly black, to Boise, Idaho, which is predominantly white, I had to adjust. Not thinking about that, because I was just solely focused on basketball, and all along I adjusted. Then all of a sudden, when I was in my senior year, knowing I wasn't going to be drafted, then I was thinking Europe, and then going to Europe was another adjustment, because now I'm really going outside of my world. You know, you had the Flint world, then I go to Boise. That's a big step. Now all of a sudden I'm going overseas. So all along through that journey, I had to really grow up as a young man. I had to really be independent, thinking-wise. And so that would, and then coming here, it made it easier because of so many things I was familiar with. Yeah.
Did you find it hard? Like, was there ever a time where you're like, oh, I can't do this? this is too much? And if there was, how did you manage that?
It's funny you asked that question because when I got to Norway on a Friday, and it was raining all day, and I thought, yeah, no big deal. It rains everywhere for a day.
10 days later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me get to. And then on Sunday, because I was in my apartment the whole time, we didn't practice until Monday. Then on Sunday, when I called my mother, reverse charge back then, by the way. Okay.
They don't know what that is.
Yeah. So when you call and they have to accept it, kind of like the prison.
Collect call.
Collect call. Yeah, that's how it was back then. So I called her on Sunday, and I said to my mother, "Moms, I don't know if I can do this." She's like, "Why? What's wrong?" And I just said to her, "It's been raining nonstop here." And she said to me, "Son, it's just water." That's what she said. It's just water. And I really didn't know what to say to that because she was 100% fact. And I was like, yeah, okay. And she's like, "When y'all practice?" I said, "Tomorrow." She said, "Okay, practice tomorrow. You'll be back playing basketball. See how the week go, and then we'll decide at the end of the week." So went to the first practice. Teammates were great. Coach was great. I was back in my place of playing, displaying my passion. First week went by, loved it. Next week went by, no issues whatsoever.
Amazing.
So for me, that was a point of growth because my mother could have even said, "Okay, all right, I'll organize for you to get back on tomorrow." Don't know where I'd be today if she hadn't have said to me, "Pretty much, son, tough it out. It's water."
Yeah, it's that butterfly effect right there in action. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then kind of going into the Australian basketball, you played a lot of seasons here, I believe 17 seasons, NBL. Just want to know kind of how you saw the game kind of evolve over your time playing, like the differences in maybe now it's more shooting and stuff like that, kind of just, yeah.
It was definitely a lot more physical back then. Just from a player point of view and the game, referees let a lot go back then. It wasn't as 3-point centric as it is today. And we didn't go, we had our 5 starters, and then you had 5 role players. Now, those 5 role players would probably play 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 max. And they wouldn't get into probably the second quarter or late in the first. It's not like it is today where 4 or 5 minutes into the game, you have the whole team that's been subbed
Rotating,
in.
yeah.
No, we didn't have that type of rotation. So, and also we played 48 minutes. So, yeah, it was just a different style, different pace. Yeah, a lot slower, probably less fast breaks. But we had more time because it's physical to make probably better decisions. And that's no disrespect to the players these days. They're making those decisions on the fly, whereas our game was a lot slower, so we was able to have some time to make those decisions. We practice every day. So we would have the toughest thing would have been what we call the doomsday double back then. And that's when we flew to Adelaide on a Friday and then flew to Perth on a Saturday. Just those 2 back to back. That was called the doomsday double. And if you came back with a split, you were lucky. Majority of the time we came back 0-2, but it was because it was a tough road trip. The rest of the week, particularly under Brian Gorgon, he was my coach back then. We trained for 2.5 hours every day, and the stadiums then nothing like it is now. So we for example, if I were to go back to Albert Park in Melbourne, which is where IMSAC is. I don't know if you guys are familiar with IMSAC. Before that, it was Albert Park. So it was like 8 or 9 rundown courts, but it was the basketball hub in Melbourne. So we trained there from about 8:30 to 12. So we get there at 8:30 in the morning. Because the stadium was so old, we get there, you walk inside every morning without fail, you would smell possum shit. And we still had to just, no big deal, time to practice. Brian didn't expect anything less. He didn't expect for us to come in and let our smell affect our practice. And so that's how we pretty much was I guess, locked in, and it was a everyday practice session. Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess some people might think it's hard, but personally, I like it.
Kind of linking into how you talked about the bench players didn't really play that much as well. I know you won NBL championship and also finals MVP in that. And then kind of a couple seasons later in your career, you also won Sixth Man of the Year. So kind of, how did you embrace the different role coming off the bench now compared to being like one of the main guys winning the finals MVP?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have a problem embracing it. Because the way it worked was just through an injury. I can't remember if I had a calf injury or a hamstring injury, and I was out for 4 weeks. And my replacement when I was with the Kings was Matt Nielsen. So he came in and replaced me, and I guess organically I took that six-man role, which wasn't a problem because I was still in the same mindset going into the game. I just had the opportunity to watch the game, study the game, and figure out where I can inject myself, once I stepped on the court. And it wasn't a problem whatsoever because I still felt that I had contributed to the team, still had my impact coming off the bench, and really felt that when I went from the Kings to the Razorbacks. And I took pride in coming off the bench and getting involved and being that person that was going to be controlling the paint.
It's definitely great hearing that from someone who was so successful, how the mentality and kind of embracing the role, you just got to get it done, and links into you with the agent, how you were talking about the player's attitude, how that it could explain how someone can be a good player even without even talking about the skills. So it's nice to see how it all links in together.
I'm a bit disappointed though in Bruce in that last answer he gave. He didn't talk no mess about how soft these kids are these days.
I was
Give it to
gonna
him for real,
ask.
man. Big Coach Bree.
What's the differences you see back then to now? You can mention that softness and all that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was listening to a podcast today. It had Magic Johnson and Byron Scott on it.
Say no more.
Right, and that was the one thing that they said, that the players these days, they're afraid of being physical. And the one thing he said that resonated, and Magic said this, resonated with me is, he said, and this is the same way when we played, when the game was finished, we didn't shake hands. We did not shake hands. We went in the opposite direction. That's just how competitive we were. Yeah. Particularly in Melbourne, because you have 4 teams in Melbourne, right? And it was about being the top dog in Melbourne. And if I were to take that even further, I won't mention their names.
I'll mention them.
But there was 2 players. I will mention.
Yeah.
So Brad Pinot, who was a great guy, I speak to him. Actually, was chatting with him today. He played with the Melbourne Tigers. This is when Dave Simmons was there, Ben's dad, Leonard Copeland, Andrew Gaze, right? And you're talking rivals. We were rivals. And he said to me one time, he said to me, we were out somewhere on a Saturday night, because back then we did sort of hang out, not together, but we hung out. He said to me one night that he saw him and Dave was out, and they saw me come into the club or the bar or whatever, and he said to Dave, "Hey, that's Bruce over there, man. Why don't we say hello to him?" Dave told him, "No, man, we don't speak to him." Damn. So that's how competitive it was back then, off the court, right? And when he said that to me, this would have been probably 5-6 years ago when he said it to me, I was like, I wasn't mad at Dave. It took me back to that point, but yep, that's how I was back then.
Now they all on the banana boat.
You weren't my teammate. You were the opposition. I got nothing for you off the court. And today, because we went through that and we have that connection, right? We are the best of friends. And I'll give you another example. Scott Fisher. I don't know if you guys know Scott Fisher, way before your time. He was white dude, tough, really, really good player. One of the most competitive white guys I've ever played against. Love going against him because it's always a battle. Same thing. Didn't shake hands. We got a chance. If we got a chance during the game, crack. Kept it moving. But to this day, we're like this. We speak. And so that respect of being part of that era and playing our part in bringing the game where it is today at a level where there's a lot of Australian talent. We take pride in being a part of where it is today. Not taking the shine off them because I'm enjoying watching the game today, but playing our part in the growth of the game. From the Jordan era to this era now where you have Steph, KD, Kyrie, you have multiple players. Back then, I classified it as a Jordan era. So now you have the two linked. The physical side of it, they want the game to go faster. And there's an entertaining side of it as well. So big difference. I enjoy it. I would like a little bit more physicality, particularly now that you're in the grand final series, because everyone need to, lift their game up another level, playing wise and physicality.
It's definitely a major contrast between back then and here. That's why, I kind of have that love for the players like Draymond, Pat Bev, kind of bring back that sort of energy. Obviously, Draymond, he plays for my team, so if he played for a different team, I probably would have a different answer. But
that's
right now, it's.
Well, I'll touch on Draymond Green. Draymond Green is from Saginaw, Michigan. That's a half an hour from Flint, Michigan. So Draymond Green has got some of that dog in him, and it's because he's a Michigan boy. All right, so we connect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a bit annoying when after a tough loss, but I see him dapping up LeBron and doing his hug. It's like, come on, man. I see him partying with him. It's like, bro, come on, man.
Hey, man,
we trying to win
these days. Man. They built different.
Yeah, it's a lot different nowadays.
No disrespect to y'all. That's just, we come from that old school. I like the way it used to be. Fight on the court. Keep it moving. Punching. No harm, no foul. No blood. Yeah. Absolutely.
And to touch on it one last time, I come up through the bad boy days. Okay, Detroit Pistons bad boys. Now, they are the reason why part of the reason I should say, Jordan got to where he's at. Because he had to get beat down a few seasons to realize if I'm going to get a championship, I got to go through these guys. That means I have to get stronger.
Yeah. He was tough. He whooped his ass on the court.
And kind of hearing about how you talked about no handshakes after the game. I think also him and Isaiah, that's the reason he was kind of left off the dream team. So kind of some beef there still, but
still a conspiracy theory.
But
no one knows the reason.
You know what? It's my own opinion of it. I honestly think the reason is the 2 years, the two series that Detroit beat down or beat Chicago's ass. After the game, Jordan went to shake their hands. All right? When Jordan and the Bulls eventually won, Isaiah, Bill Laimbeer went to the locker room. Didn't shake the hand. I think that's the one thing that irks Michael Jordan today. He showed them respect, right? He learned from them. They helped him get to that next level. They didn't pay that respect in return. That's my opinion of where it starts from. I don't think anyone touch on that. They think it just has to do with, Jordan saying that, no, he's not playing. That's where I think it is. Because I don't know if you guys, I watched it in detail. So after they walked off, right, you had Bill Laimbeer in front, Isaiah behind going into the tunnel. Bill Laimbeer looked back to make sure Isaiah was still coming through and didn't shake hands. If you ever watch that, have a look at that situation there, right? And to me, that told me, wait a minute, Laimbeer, okay, you don't have to shake Michael Jordan's hand. Why do you expect Isaiah to do the same? And obviously, because Jordan, quiet dude, don't say much, that would be my one question if I ever got a chance to ask him. Although he wouldn't tell me anyway.
Good question to ask.
Yeah, it's a great question to ask, definitely. And I mean, it's kind of cool to hear like how you guys are talking about like how nowadays like everyone's just friends on the court. Because I know like with me personally, like when I was younger, I still am extremely competitive, but I also had like a bit of anger issues too. So I would kind of be like if I got like heated, like I'm like they're the rivals. Like why am I shaking their hand? Like what? And like kind of that energy, but you know, being around like everyone where they're all shaking hands or they're all like, it kind of like made me adapt and be like, oh, I guess I gotta be respectful, shake their hands. But I still find it weird when like with friends and that, like when you verse friends or when I see like my team versing friends and they're like, oh, laughing on the court. I'm like, yo, we trying to win. Like, that's not funny. Like, what's going on? But like, I just got to like remind myself like it's different these days. Like, just chill. We're trying to win, but just chill, be Ebony.
I think back when I played, I didn't have any friends on the other team. That's how I looked at it. So we didn't chat during warm-ups, right? We didn't chat at halftime. Definitely didn't chat after the game. So my friends was my teammates and my friends outside of the opposition. Yeah, and you see that up in the stands as well. Yeah, they were just as competitive toward the opposition. So it's interesting you say that. That's why I touched on my friends wasn't Dave Simmons or Brad Pinot.
And quietly it's kept, in the agents world, we compete against each other. Let's get the best contractual terms for our guy, right? If I'm going after player A, he going after player A, I'm going to get player A. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to walk around there and tick it off the box, wave the flag, So it's competitive all the way around.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely competitive sport. But kind of hearing how we talked about evolution from how you heard it, kind of want to see your idea of it, kind of like not from a playing point, but kind of behind the scenes and stuff like that, how you notice the sports landscape has kind of changed, because I think you've been here for nearly 30 years now. So your thoughts on how.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably echoing Bruce right now. Like, we grew up, watching the same players, loving the same players, arguing who's the greatest, who's the best. Oh, nah, man, he's, different era. You know what I mean? So I was Showtime Laker guy, and how I became that, and I'll get into it, but I was watching Magic play Bird in the NCAA championship. And I remember my brother came in. He's like, oh, man, you got to watch this game. I was young, man. I was playing what do we call it? The reps here, but what do we call it back in the Pee-wee basketball? I forgot what it was called, right? And he was like, oh, yeah, he's the greatest, man, in college right now. And I was like, and they was explaining to me, like, they're about to go to the pros. I always watched the Lakers. I was kind of born into that, right, being from L.A. And I remember my brother telling me, he's like, man, if one of these guys going to the Lakers, whoever, gets drafted first, right? So I said to myself, all right, whoever wins this, that's who my pro team's going to be. Man, I'm sure the hell glad I don't know that Magic won, because I'm a Laker fan. Otherwise, I would have been a Celtic fan. I would have had to change that real quick, you know what I mean? But no, I grew up in that hard times, man. I love watching that. No harm, no foul. Chick Hearn was our court announcer. You know what I mean? He was always no blood, no what? How would you say it? No harm, no foul, no blood, whatever. Just keep it moving. So, love watching that. But then seeing the game change, you're like, man, why is he shooting all these damn threes? Ain't made 1 in 10. You know what I mean? But that's where the game is at. Entertainment. Let's speed up the game. But I like the old school stuff.
Yeah, old school. nothing can beat it.
That's right.
All right, now going back into LobX, mentioning that, how did you guys, you touched briefly on it, but how did you guys meet? How did the relationship form?
Yeah.
How did you guys create this?
Yeah. So Bruce and I, one of my first port of calls was Melbourne. So I met him way back then. Wasn't hanging out, but we would see each other, and just over the years, traveling back and forth, to the U.S. And then as we got a little bit older, probably maybe in the last 10 years, maybe, I was living here and I was getting ready to move back to the States for a little while. And, we connected again and was, kept in touch. And it was always about, players coming over there anyway. And I was doing this before it was a LobX, right? Bruce was doing his thing before it was a LobX. And, other people would call me. Hey, Dre, I know you're in the States, man. I know you got the connects with a few colleges and stuff like that. I got a kid coming. Can you see what you can do? So we was doing that, right? And it was just all out of the love. I wasn't getting paid for it. It was just passion. It was just like, okay, there's something I'm doing. Let me see what I could do, right? But then when I moved back, Bruce hit me, was like, man, I got this idea. You're just coming back. You're fresh out of the States. You still got your, you're certified. Got this going on. It was, Bruce would tell his part, and he's got his thing was going. So we just kind of having conversations, about where the state of basketball is at in Australia. From a state point of view, from Queensland to New South Wales to Victoria, Adelaide to Perth, and just where that level of play was and the development of kids, right? And we sit and talk about, seeing players and they're just not developed right. Or, damn, man, he's got so much talent. Why is he over here and he's not on the state team? Why he's not on the, playing for, the Australian side under 19s or whatever it might be, right? So the idea came about and, we just started talking. So we got together and we just thought, and this is what I always say, this is a unicorn here, like the Avengers, right? This is a superhero team here. You got a certified agent, that has the NBA connects, has NCAA connects, has high school connects, even out here the NBL. Then you got an ex-NBL player, former NBL player, champion, played the game, son's in the game, knows everything about the game, probably forgot more than I know. But in saying that, putting that together, man, why wouldn't you want a team like LobX, right? Why wouldn't you want us representing you? Why wouldn't you want us helping you? Like, we got to cover it globally, right? So I'm fast tracking the story because he has his part to say on it. But when we put this together, it was out of the love of the game. It was out of the things that we saw, the underdevelopment of players, right? And being able to get them on the right platform and get them to where they need to be. Whether it's, Team LobX going over, and putting them on a college platform, which I'll touch on. We took a team of 8 last year, and out of 8 of those, 2 of those guys got post-grad deals, right? 2 more guys got D1 and D2 interests, right? So that's a 50% hit rate right there. You know what I'm saying? And we took this team and we put them on the platform and we did what we had to do. We called before we go. We talk about, we talk to the coaches about the players we bring in. When we get back, we still help to as much as we can, right? And I said to him, if we get one offer, we got one offer. That's an offer. We don't promise nobody that we're going to go over there and we're going to get you 10 offers. Maybe we said, if you go and play, we're going to get you seen, right? And then we're going to put in the work to get you to where you need to get to. And that's just from, a LobX standpoint, from how we help in our U.S. pathways, right? And how we help you get to college, right? And then it just doesn't end there. It's all about the mentorship as well. These kids, man, they talk to us all the time. They call us, they text us, they want to meet up with us. They got a lot going on. Sometimes not even about basketball. I go through my phone and just scroll and it's just kids, just, hey, coach, or hey, Dre, this is what I'm going through. What are we doing? And while we were there, man, we were helping kids, other players that went on other tours. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all doing? You're going on tour with somebody else, and that's all right. That's what we do. We don't. Our tour might not be for you, but we were still helping other players, taking college coaches' calls while we were in Vegas or in LA, wherever it may be. So, it's just the love and the passion that we have, and hence why we do this, and the reason why it started. So, love what I do. We're not going anywhere. And that's just from an amateur standpoint. We still also got the professional side of things where we represent athletes. So got, Alex in the NBL now, kid over in Indonesia. We have our, our European connects. So, we're working on a whole bunch of things right now. So it's going to be big things coming out of LobX.
I love that. I think it's important to, build those relationships.
Absolutely.
Keep them, going strong after as well, like after the tour coming back. So I love that you guys do that.
Yep.
And that, bit of a side note, or not really side note, but like even with like mental health with like men, and that it's good that, like
Absolutely.
you said, they talk to you about
Absolutely.
stuff, and like they can build that trust with you. Like, I really think that's a great thing to do.
Absolutely. And
So,
our doors are open 24/7. No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, my first thought of Andre was, more importantly, passion. I knew he had passion for the game, and that resonated with me big time. Experience-wise, I knew he had that box ticked, but the passion, bring that passion together. And I thought, I spent 10 years in Melbourne, and then come to Sydney, there was an imbalance of talent. Melbourne, Sydney. And over time, that gap kind of closed. And I think part of the reason why it's not even closer is because they don't have the facilities here, the stadiums here yet. That's a work in progress. But then I saw the growth of the kids here, and I knew that those kids was going to, at some stage, they're going to want to go to that next level, a la college. Now, I knew that both Dre and I had that box ticked because, one, from his experience of, being in the States and speaking to GMs, coaches, pro trainers. On my side of it, from a player's point of view, I went through the process of getting to high school with my son. So I knew that as well. So we brought that together. And so we thought we need to bring a pathway together so we can help these kids through that process and help the parents understand the process as well, because it's not easy. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I thought we can do that. And then you speak about the mentoring side of it. These days, mentally, it's okay to talk about it. Back in the Jordan era, my days, you didn't say a word.
That's right.
You just tough it out. So I'm all for, Dre is all for getting a phone call 2 or 3 in the morning, getting a text message 2 or 3 in the morning, to have a conversation with the player, to let him download, to let her ask us some questions. So I thought, LobX, we really need to hone in on this talent, help them with their decision. Now, their decision could be high school in America, could be college, could be NBL 1, could be NBL. They had some good options, but they needed to know which one is best suited for them based on their circumstances. And so we kind of have that conversation with them and let them know the options of each one of the 4. At the end of the day, then they make that decision, and they make that decision after having a conversation with their parents as well. So what we do, and I'll speak on this from my experience with my son, is we see players that are talented. We'll check to see if he, want to go to that next level. It's only a small percentage that doesn't, because basketball here is so big to where kids really love the game, and they see the NBA, they see the NBL, they see the opportunity of going to Europe, Asia, and they want to, go down one of those paths. And so when we reach out to them and they say, yeah, I do want to go to the next level, then we say to them, okay, if you mind having a conversation with us, your parent have to be involved as well. So we build that trust with them first, then we build that trust with the parents. Because if they're underage in particular, we don't have that conversation or face-to-face without the parents. So we build a trust, we build a respect, and a comfortability with the player and the parent. And so
because they gotta also understand that we taking their kids from here to the U.S.
Yeah.
So they got to see who the hell we are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, cut you,
Yeah,
but
no,
go, yeah.
you're right. You're right. And to be quite honest with you, and this is something that people don't realize, you also got to realize that we're brothers. So it's not in Australia we talk to all different nationalities. It's not like if I was in Flint, Michigan, I'd be talking to a young brother. No. So I got to speak to the parent who might be Italian, right? To let her know that you can trust me, right? Not because of who I am, because of the person I am and what I want for your child. So they gotta really feel that within myself and Andre when we are talking to them. And that's why we go, player, reach out to the player. Next step is parents.
That's right.
We don't go any further. Yeah. Then we start diving into the conversation, hearing more about what the player want, hearing more about what the parent would like, because it get to a stage where, and depend on the parent, where the parent have to kind of listen, get educated on it, but at the same time, allow their son to make their decision. So now here in Sydney in particular, there is a lot of talent in Sydney. And speaking of colleges in America, they love Australians for two reasons. One, they're fundamentally sound. They're not just athletes. They don't just jack threes. Second, probably more importantly, they high character kids. So they don't have to deal with drama when they get over there. Right? They go over there, well-mannered, well-behaved, listen, engage with the coaches. So that makes it easy for them, because colleges, if they're going to invest in a kid from overseas or from Australia, it's got to be the right kid. And so over the years, Australians have built a good reputation in the college system, both male and female. So that makes it easy for Andre and I to have the conversation to the coaching network that we have, because they either have had an Aussie on their team or they're very familiar with it, with the Australians. I've even had coaches call me and say, we've had a few teams with Aussies on it that have kicked our asses, and I'm tired. Now it's time for me to get some Australians on my team. That's how much of an impact the Australians have had in the college system, and that's both male and female. Female is more of a quiet side of things, but there's a lot of females that are playing college basketball right now, which is going to obviously grow, transition into the WNBA. It's going to grow the WNBL. So, so bringing LobX together, knowing that passion was the core force, and we knew with our experience, our knowledge, our connections, bringing those all together, we knew we had something good. It was just a matter of
it's a dream team. I'm trying to tell y'all.
It was a matter of going out to the market and start talking LobX.
I'll jump in real quick on that. We're back where we were talking about old school, new school, toughness, right? The new age basketball, not as tough. I will say this, though. We took some tough guys last year. We got some tough guys this year. Aussies are tough, right? Because when we went there and we were playing, we had referees that were college coaches, right? From a JUCO level to D2. They all come down and, they referee the games and try to help, the grassroots of the game grow, explain the rules. Some of them did. But we've had referees who was like, man, you guys is tough. They weren't just letting the Americans run up and down. Bruce mentioned, there's some structured basketball. We ran plays. We just didn't get up and run up and down like AAU ball do. We had plays. We had defensive sets. We had offensive sets, right? We was, hey, man, give them a little bit. put your shoulder right in his chest, you know? And they were going out there doing it. And that shook some of the American teams. It's like, oh, these dudes came to play. They're like, who are these white dudes? You know what I mean? So, yeah. So big ups to the Aussies, man, being tough, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was part of Andre and I duty of care to prepare them for AAU basketball, to get them to understand that these guys are going to see you and straight away going to think, oh, yeah, it's strange, you're soft. And they're going to try to take it.
Wearing a mullet. Yeah. Like, who are these dudes?
So we had to sort of say, hey, listen, when you go out there, put your hard hat on. If you get dunked on, get back up.
Yep.
Right? You get a chance, dunk on them. And I'd say probably midway through the first game, that's when our guys got real comfortable with the style, with the play, with the intensity, and settled right in. And from that point onwards, they held their own.
Yep.
And each one of those boys came back here as better young men and a lot more confident in their own game. They had different skill sets. We had one guy in particular, Jim would know. He went over there. He was our beast in the middle. His role was to rebound, play strong. And let me tell you, he played that role to the T, and that set the tone for the rest of the tour. And to this day, he come back here, totally different person. Now you see him play, he's a different young man. And so that's for Andre and I to see that. It feels good because we've helped him in his basketball and even in life, because you get in that situation. It's not easy, and this is another part of it that we say to kids that want to go to the States. It's not easy, right? It wears on you. It can wear on you mentally, because once you make that decision of taking up a scholarship in America, wherever it is in the States, you can't come home for the weekend.
Right.
So think about that. You cannot come home for the weekend. So you got to be locked in to wherever you're going and be committed, because that's part of your journey.
Yeah, I love that. You can really see the passion behind what you guys are doing, and I really love that. On I said I was a bit competitive, so when you talk about Melbourne and Sydney, my ears perk up a bit.
Yeah, of course.
And I like how you mentioned that Sydney has a lot of talent, and that we had to catch up to Melbourne a bit. I still think we got a bit of catching up to do personally. I still think Melbourne's beating us a bit. Yeah. But I was wondering what your guys' future for LobX looks like. Did you ever want to breach out to like those other states, like not even Melbourne, like other, or was it just focus on Sydney and building the talent here and building everything here?
Originally it was Sydney, but because we've been getting interest from in the States, and we did have a plan to make sure that we do go interstate to see talent and secure ourselves some talent identification coaches, we definitely want to branch out 100%, because we've gone to a lot of the state competitions, like even coming up in April, we will be at the under 18s. So we look at talent from around the country, because college coaches, they want to know, particularly in a situation like that, we can say to them, listen, we're going to the under 18 nationals. And they probably want us to give them some feedback. Okay, give me the top 10 from that. So we'll break that down and send it over there to them.
Which we just did for the under 20s down in Ballarat.
True.
So we went down there and watched those guys. And we were down there supporting our guys that played for New South Wales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and other players that we've met, spoke to. It was a chance for us to get in front of them and just say hello, so they can get to see who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely great having a program like you guys around. Like you said, Dream Team. Got all the expertise, NBL Legend.
Oh, yeah.
Agent Legend. But, yeah, it's nice seeing Australia kind of grow also at the international stage, A lot of other countries as well, kind of we've seen at the last Olympics, It's more competitive. I think it's better for the game that everyone is more competitive. And, with a program like you guys, it's only looks to push it more.
Man.
Looks to push it more. So appreciate you guys doing that.
I mean, for a country of only 28 million, sporting wise, basketball wise, is doing really well. Real well. I mean, per capita.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Olympic team, the Boomers, how many's on the roster? And then how many's in the NBA?
That's right.
There's at least 10 guys on there in the
Yeah,
NBA.
that's right.
You know what I mean? That played, might be back here in the NBL, but they played.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's only you know, more coming up, you know, through the system. And I think we have one too, Alex Higgins-Titcher. I'm telling you, man, that dude is a superstar in the making. So, NBL coaches, you out there watching this podcast, check him out. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
Look forward to seeing him hoop. Hopefully, Australian jersey soon.
Hey, well, he's got the 3-on-3 on now, so we'll see.
Yeah,
that's a little teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser, but you know, Cairns next year he'll be back. So
that's beautiful. Do you guys want to talk about a bit more about Alex, like how you guys helped him or anything like that?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to start?
So, Alex was playing NBL 1, and I knew Alex even before he played NBL 1 with Inner West Bulls, when he was in his juniors at Sydney Comets. And he's won, if LobX would have been set up back then, he would have went to America.
To the States.
To play college. But because that wasn't, and I think he wasn't sure of where he wanted to take his basketball, because he was just an athlete back then. No particular special skills. But then the NBL 1 came in, and it allowed him to go to the Inner West Bulls, where he was able to really, not really force, but he had to go into a leadership role within the Inner West Bulls, because he was one of the older of the younger kids on there, and had a great season under Daniel Kim. And when I saw that, I thought, okay, one, your skills have gotten better. Two, you've matured as a basketball player. And so for me, that thought, okay, if you've matured as a basketball player, more than likely you're going to see the areas within your skills that you need to work on to keep moving up. So we, you know, I saw that, and when I go out to scout, I look at a kid's skills today, and also look at his potential, right? Because that's the ticking point. If I see, he's got some skills, and then I see, okay, he can get even better with the potential, then that really resonates with me. And that's what I saw with Alex. Had that first season. Now, mind you, when we had the conversation with him, I still think to today he wasn't quite sure if he personally was at NBL level. As much as I told him, and Andre told him, you NBL level. What you got to do is mentally step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, he didn't believe in himself.
No. So it started from that type of conversation. Second year, first year he was defensive player of the year. Okay, and so that first year too, I spoke to a couple of coaches about him, and they liked him. But what they said was, the NBL 1 East is not a tough NBL 1 conference. And I said to them, okay, all right, that's your opinion. I said, but there's a lot of talent here, so keep an eye on it. And I knew the NBL 1 East was going to get stronger. I knew Alex was going to, keep on getting better as well. So, had that season, played the next year, and then we put him in front of Brisbane. We put him in front of Cairns. And he had also been training down with the Kings. Yeah. So they had like an open run. So a lot of guys went down there and played. So he's in 3 pro environments, right? And holding his own. And I think in those environments, particularly Brisbane, because he went up there and got a taste of what NBL's like, got a taste of the physicality side of it, got a taste of situations that he was able to get away with in the NBL 1 East that he couldn't in the NBL, and that was pointed out to him. And also, coming back and playing in Sydney, because there was a lot of guys, both NBL 1 and NBL playing in the pickups, and that helped him as well. Had that tryout up in Cairns, and I think he put Inner West Bulls, Brisbane, the open runs with the Kings all in one and took that up to Cairns.
Showed the hell out.
And he did. And fortunately for him, for us, the coach, Adam Ford, he saw potential. Right? He didn't stick with, you know, you're long, you're athletic, you get them down the floor. Because some coaches, because of the way they coach, they want to fit you in that box.
In the box, yeah.
I'm not about that. I'm about, okay, I know you can go in that box, but I think there's other boxes that you can fit in as well. That's how I look at it. And 40 saw that because Alex can guard a player from 1 to 5, right? And more so now because he's gotten stronger. So he's able to withstand the physicality of it when he get himself in those situations. But credit to 40, his coach, for believing in him. Right? Now, he went up there and played a DP role, development player role, right? With the second-year option, team option. Sometimes with basketball, luck is important. So in this case, he got some luck because of players being injured, right? So therefore, 40, because he believed in him from the start, probably more so trusted in him from the way he trained and what he saw in training.
Say that, yeah. He went up there and earned it.
Didn't hesitate to put him in those in a roster spot when a player was injured. And you know, Dre will attest to this as well, is when he went into the roster spot to play like one of the main guys, you didn't see a hiccup. Right? He went in there, played his role, and just kept, you know, progressing during those games. And each game, a little bit more luck was coming. Then it got to a point where 40 thought, I can trust you. So it's not a matter of luck or not. I got you in my frame. And so it just really built from there. And during that time, I think Alex really gained a whole lot of confidence along the way. Good organization, good group of guys, and highly respected by the coach. So for him as a young man, tick, tick, tick. Whereas if he hadn't played, right, when those opportunities of luck open up, probably would have interfered with him. It would have been a longer, delayed process for him. Go ahead.
And I'll give it to Alex too, is that when he got his opportunity to get in, he made it happen. Like a lot of players be like, oh, yeah, I couldn't get into the swing of it, man. I only got 4 minutes. 4 minutes? That's a lot of laps up and down the court. You know, that's a lot of ball, you know, going up and down the court, right? But Alex got in, whether it was 2 minutes or 20 minutes, and he went to work. Whether it was a block shot, a steal, you know, made the guy force the shot. It was whatever it was, he was doing something. He stayed active, and that's what he saw. You know, and that's what 40 saw. And that's why, you know, he said to me, he goes, man, DPs don't travel with the teams. Now, yeah, there was some luck in there and there was some injuries. But they had another DP too.
Yeah.
Right? Which was just as good. But he said, I liked him. I liked the way he worked. I liked the way he made it happen as soon as he got in. So that's why, you know, he ended up traveling with him. Then he ended up on the roster spot. He started a few games, you know, and now it's just like, okay, what's next? So, you know, we're gonna sing his praises, you know, until the end. So give him his roses now.
Yeah. So we use him when we speak to potential LobX clients. We use him as an example, one of where you can start and where you can end up, right?
Everybody's path is different.
That's exactly right. And we also use it as a way of showing that player that we might be talking to trust in us. Right, that we know the process. You know, we can lay down the vision for you, which is part of our slogan. So, you know, our slogan is your vision is our focus. Okay, we don't focus on anything else other than your vision. And so, a lot of kids these days, they want to go to college. They want to go to the next level. Have they mentally put it into place? Okay, do they have a vision of knowing tomorrow be a good idea if I got to get up at 6 in the morning, get some shots up before I do anything.
Yep.
Okay. And they see and have heard how a lot of NBA players have done that. A la Kobe, 4:30 in the morning. They all know it. Question a lot of times is one, if you can tap into that mentally, to then translate it to practicality. Because that could be the start of where your career as a player can lift off. Because these days, players have a lot more resources, facilities. Dre and I, we had a high school and a playground. We didn't have associations. We didn't have stadiums. We didn't have PCYCs. I had a YMCA. I never went there. The reason why I didn't go there because it had a swimming pool attached to it. I wasn't swimming.
You weren't doing no swimming.
I wasn't swimming. So I had to go somewhere where I can play, and that would be what I was doing. You know, whereas these days, like I said, they do have options.
Yeah.
So it's a good position for us to be in because we want to play our role in this next generation of Aussies, next generation of players. We want to sit back in 5 years or so and say, that's our client, that's a boomer. That's our clients that's in the NBA. That's our clients that's in Asia. Those are our clients in the NBL. And we want that to be male and female. Next year, there's a big focus from us to tap into the females.
On the female side of things, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love like a lot of what you guys said. I think I want to touch on one thing with Alex, how you said that luck came in. I think it's definitely, you know, with a lot of people, like you said, like everyone has their own path and that, and there might be, you know, a situation where there might be a bit of luck or a connection or something like that kind of gets you in the door. But I think ultimately it's that hard work that he put in that you talked about, you know, that trust. I think it's important for players to remember that, you know, you got to put in the hard work.
Absolutely.
You got to put in the work so that when you're given that little bit of luck, when you're given that opportunity, you're ready. So I think that's important.
And a quick one on that is that when the organization called after we sent them up there, I got a call from the coach, and he was like, "Hey man, look, we want him to come back, and we want to offer him a DP spot." And I was like, "Man, that's great. That's great news." He started telling me, he goes, "It was an 8-hour session, right?" And I'm jump back a second because when we want to identify talent and we want to see what they're all about, we watch them from the time they get into the gym, from when they lace them up, when they step on the other side. Are they going 100 miles per hour or are they going 2? Right? It's 100 miles per hour. Alex laced him up, got in. He said hour by hour, he got stronger and stronger. Some of the guys that he thought was going to be there was falling off. And he ended practice 8 hours later dunking on a couple of his starters. So I was like, you know, there it is, right? He said he had to look no further. So, you know, it's about, yeah, you get that little bit of luck, but it's about going up there and you got to really want it. Yeah. You could talk to some of these players and you can be like, you're good, but you don't want it. You know, we had that, you know, last year we had a kid, you know, he was great, good. Yeah, but he just lazy. I don't know what it was. It was just something there, right? So he's doing his thing, but we'll see. I wish him well. I want him to get to that point, but I just feel like, you know, you can see it, who wants it and who don't.
It's definitely underrated side of things, the mentality and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Like you said before, 4 minutes, yeah, to some might be, oh, what can I do? To others, it's like, yeah, 4 minutes. Like,
I'm about to go get mine.
Exactly.
I'm going to get full.
Even linking it
Absolutely.
back, it back to my team, the Warriors, same as Moses Moody. He used to never get no minutes. He's always coming in rubbish time and stuff. Now he's starting.
That's right. Because in that rubbish time, he was eating that rubbish.
Exactly. He was hooping. He was diving on the floor, doing all the little things. And
little things.
Yeah, but a lot of people might not notice it, but the ones that are really looking, they definitely see it. So
film don't lie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even with me, like watching Miami, like, well, like I basically watch Miami only because that's just
Look,
my
we got
team.
a mentorship for that. We got counseling for you on this thing here. You seem like Miami got you all in your feelings right now. So, Bruce will take that call.
They do. But I've always in my head I saw this quote when I was a kid and it just stuck with me. Like the game doesn't end till the clock hits 0.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I always like to think, and how if I coach, I'd tell my kids that and stuff like that. So whenever I'm watching NBA or professional sports, some people, if their team's losing by 30, they leave. Fair enough, I guess.
Sometimes.
But I like seeing the whole game out to the end. And like you said, those players will come on in that garbage time. I'm kind of like, come on, this is your chance. Doesn't matter how long's on the clock, this is your chance. That's how I've always been. So, it's great to see people when they have that same mentality, when they're just this is my chance.
Yeah. I think a lot of players underestimate that garbage time or that 2 minutes because the impact of 2 minutes could be a whole lot stronger than 25 minutes because 25 minutes there's an expectation. 2 minutes, there's no expectation. Be like, oh, wait a minute, you've had a dunk, assist, a block, just 2 minutes. Okay, I like that kid. Then the next conversation they have with, someone else who might have gone to the game, and they might have said, oh, what did you think of the game? Yeah, actually, there was this one kid, came in 2 minutes. That's the impression. The other side of that, too, is it might be garbage time. The coaching staff, particularly the analytics coaches, they're monitoring that.
Yep.
So when you get your time, do your thing.
Exactly. That's why I say always stay ready, be ready for that opportunity.
Right.
Definitely.
I think we're, running a bit of time. I got one more question. Do you have anything you want to ask before we?
I just had a fun question. Can ask it Dan, but
Okay, I guess I'll ask my question first. And my question is just, what do you think is the biggest misconception with young athletes that they have about making it nowadays?
Good question. Misconception that they have about making it.
Yeah.
That they can just show up, with their talent that they have today. They make the rep team or they make New South Wales, whatever it may be, and that they get comfortable with that because, I'm on the starting team. But on the other side, I've met some kids that didn't make that top team, right? And now they're like, I got to work a little bit harder. So that's something I've been hearing a lot and see a lot, So I'm going to go with that.
I like that.
Yeah, I would say that they're not getting noticed. And I think what happens is if they feel they're not getting noticed, their spirits start weighing. Their work start weighing because they're thinking, oh, well, I'm not getting noticed. And I also said something to the players that we took on tour. And as part of preparing them for it, and I said to them, if we happen to play in a stadium that there's only 4 or 5 people in there, be mindful of those 4 or 5 people in there. One of them might be there for a reason. He could be an older gentleman, but he's probably got 50 years experience that he's scouting for someone. So when you play packed house or 5 in the stands, you play the same because that could be a point where that guy saw you, and that could be catalyst to your career. Yeah.
Yeah, I love both of those. I think they're really important. Tyler, your fun question.
Yeah, just before I add into this one, probably add into some future episodes. I know you said you're a Laker guy and you're both old school, so just want your thoughts. Who is your GOAT? Is it MJ? Is yours Dr. J? Maybe. Maybe. I'm just saying.
Look, I think we're probably on the same, path here. Like I said, man, I grew up watching Magic and Kareem, and I'm gonna put a little. It's not even a disclaimer, but just a little context behind it. The GOAT is your GOAT, right? It's not gonna be the GOAT of everybody.
That's right.
Right? Because you ask my dad. he gonna name somebody you ain't never heard of. and they don't even have film on him. You know what I mean? So look, I'm a Jordan man, you know, by far, right? Because reason being is just he was doing things that nobody else was doing, right? But I grew up watching Magic. Man, you looking this way, passing that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you didn't see a 6'9" guard. You know, everybody was little. You know, it was like the smallest guys played the guard, the biggest guys was the center, the next guys was the forward. That's how it was set up back then, right? But yeah, Jordan, the debate is over. I love Kobe, you know, big LeBron fan, but yeah, Jordan.
I love how you started with, you know, saying you said somewhere in there, you know, your go is the go or whatever it was. Right. Then at the end you're like, nah, it's Jordan. I like that.
Yeah,
it is.
Bruce?
For me, it is Jordan. And there's a couple of reasons why. Growing up, I played ball every day. Right? Now, I had to be in the house by the time the lights were on in the street. By that time, it was around about between 7:30. 3 times a week, 7:30, on the station that beamed into Flint from Chicago, Chicago Bulls were playing. So I got my game on, and then I sat down and watched, you know, the Bulls play, watched Jordan play. And I didn't watch the game sitting back like this. I used to watch the game sitting up. Because I knew something was getting ready to happen. Every time Jordan got the ball, that we're like, oh my God. So that resonated with me. The clincher for me is if I'm playing with Jordan, I don't want the ball. Take the shot. I want him to win the game. That's how I look at it. Right? And he wouldn't hesitate throughout his career. He took game winners. Right? You know, he's got in one of his posters the amount of shots he missed. That's a statement. Those shots meant nothing. Next one's coming up, right? And I know the game is different now, and like Andre said, everyone have their GOAT. I honestly think Jordan took a lot from Julius Erving, Kobe, quietly. Him and Michael Jordan's relationship was like this. So he obviously molded and took so much from him that no one knew about, right? And why he is, was great. May he rest in peace. But for me, yeah, Jordan.
No fights here.
Yeah, no complaints from me either. You know,
we quick one. I know we got to run, but we talk about this on the team bus when we traveling. Who's the
Yeah.
We hear so many things. Me and Bruce are sitting up in the front like these kids.
It was a debate. It was a debate.
It's always going to be.
And it was some solid debate stuff. Like
they had their reasons.
They had their reasons, and I had to sit back and think, oh, he's challenging me. You know what I mean? I'm like, he's my GOAT, but now you got me thinking. So it's not changing though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but then you were like, nah, Jordan.
Yeah, definitely what you said. But everyone has their own GOAT. You can hear all the arguments. At the end of the day, no one's really gonna change their mind.
No,
but
I can agree to disagree.
Yeah, I think Jordan. I think it's always gonna be Jordan. You gotta pay respect to the eras as well. Like,
yeah, of course.
You could get a random guy nowadays and send him to the 60s. He'll be the best player. But for them to do it with what they had then, it's a different story. But
yeah, I love it. Respect to Jordan as well. I bought a Michael Jordan calendar this year. Usually I go with, this is not basketball at all, but usually I go with BTS calendar. But this year I'm like, nah, I need to work hard.
Yeah.
I want that Michael Jordan one.
There you go.
So there we go.
Yeah, I actually, let me just touch on, I have a Michael Jordan calendar too in a frame in storage.
Don't tell us what year it is, though.
I can tell you what year it is. You would know this calendar because it's the calendar in the dunk contest where he's jumping from the free throw line.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were to look at the photo, don't look at him. Look at the crowd.
Yeah.
Because majority of them like this.
Yeah.
Flying. There's one girl in the crowd, and it took me 5 minutes to find her, but she's like this.
Hey.
And I thought, that's just would have been so special to have been there.
The picture
Yeah,
is telling
wow.
1,000 words.
Yeah,
definitely.
Hey,
So
really, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much
I appreciate you guys having us
coming
here.
on.
Thank
that
you.
was great. Loved
Good
everything you
conversation.
guys
Appreciate
said.
y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you to all our viewers. You have something you want to say?
Yeah, just thanks for coming on, spreading, LobX and how you guys are trying to help pursue us other Australian hoopers in the future and stuff like that. And yeah, just good talks.
Onwards and upwards.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Before we, end, we always ask you guys if is there anyone you want to shout out, anything coming up for LobX you want to shout out?
Any social medias, anything like
social
that?
media.
Yeah.
Anything
Well,
you
You
want.
can catch us, LobX, lobx.com.au. We on IG. We behind the times a little bit, but TikTok is coming. You can find us on Facebook. We're getting ready for our December tour. Our trials are coming in April. So have a look out for that on IG and all the social media and Twitter. And even, does anybody even use, what's the IG shoot off now? The
Threads.
Yeah, Threads.
I
Does
use
anybody use that?
that.
Find us on that too. But yeah, we're going to take a team over in December, so that's looking good. And have a look out for us at the under 18s. So we got a lot of things happening. And every month we give back to the community by throwing our LobX Black Ops runs. So if you don't know about that, go to LobX Black Ops. You can find us through our IG on that as well. That's something free. Come down, get your run on. We have our pros come down. We got pro trainers come down. Coach Bruce is the one leading it off, and I'm just the one on the sideline yelling at everybody to move a little bit faster. So that's all good. So appreciate you guys for having us. But yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Just make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, go check their stuff out, and yeah, have a good night.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you.